finally get paid for the get down. You can't tell me shit now about time. Do you know how many lines I done put down? Vibes I done sent out, but we ain't here to dig. I'll up the market till they come red carpet the kids. Success still the target, soon I'll be crossing that bridge. But can't bring everybody with me, family only. I got some people think I owe a favor, barely know me. That's why my focus on the road, it's all I know. I see them sticking close to play the wall and watch.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is Atriox and we're back with another Mortal Kombat video. So just before we get into the video, I kind of just want to talk about where I've been and why I haven't posted as much. So I've been like working, I've been working out again. So I've been working out the last couple of weeks, maybe like the last 2.5 to 3 weeks, trying to get my mind right and my body right so I can like do more. Because I felt like for a while I was eating bad and just working, and then when I come home I'd be exhausted. So I kind of just want to get away from that. I've been eating healthier and going to the gym, trying to get my energy levels higher so I can do more things and not feel exhausted every time I get off of work. So that's kind of like why I haven't been posting a huge amount of videos, and like going forward it's going to be more about that. I want to start getting back into talking about Mortal Kombat, especially with the Mortal Kombat movie about to come out. Like I'm actually super excited. You know, it's exciting to be a Mortal Kombat fan right now, just because we got a movie about to come out next month, and I really have a good feeling about a Mortal Kombat trailer coming out later this year, and that's why we're making this video. So there's other content creators finally coming out saying Mortal Kombat 2 is more likely going to be the next game, especially when you look at creators like Dynasty, who for a while thought it's going to be Injustice, and like I kind of felt that way at a certain point, but then like I changed my tune once the movie got delayed to next year, or this year technically, but at that time that's the following year. And same thing with Super came out, Mike came out talking about another Mortal Kombat, even True Underdog's kind of been like, he's kind of been aligned with me as well, and thinking that there's gonna be a Mortal Kombat game, because like I seen a bunch of videos he's made about that. But like, you know, I'm just kind of glad that the community is starting to feel like the same way I'm feeling, because I've just had that feeling from the beginning, because like I just felt like Injustice just doesn't make sense for the time we're at right now. And especially when like I thought Mortal Kombat 2 was gonna get announced last year because of the movie, but then it got delayed. So I was like, okay, then we're not gonna get nothing this year. So, which is fine, because it's only been 2 years after. At that point, it had only been 2 years after the game had came out, so it makes sense they wouldn't announce anything. But for some reason they decided to push the movie back. And what reason could they have done that when the movie was pretty much finished? Like I for the life of me think that the movie was done, and they're not going to add that much stuff that's going to take 7 months. You know what I mean? That's a long time. Like if the movie had already had a release date, why delay it? Like for me, it just always tied in with the fact that they're trying to capitalize on the movie and have a trailer with being kind of lined up around the same time period, if that makes sense. Like not exactly the same time period, but within the same year. So that's kind of like what I've always thought since the movie got delayed. So like I said, that's just kind of where my mind is sitting at personally, and I'm gonna explain why I think this all ties in together with the movie and then a game trailer coming. So firstly, what's the reason why I don't think it's gonna be Injustice 3? Let's talk about that. The first reason I think it's uncertainty of Warner Bros. Discovery at this particular point. Now, let me just set the table here for you guys. If you haven't been living under a rock, you know that Warner Brothers games have not all performed as well as Mortal Kombat and Harry Potter. We've had games like Killer Justice League, Gotham Knights, and Multiverses, just to name a few projects that didn't go over well. Multiverses actually failed twice, and it's honestly one of the games that I actually loved the most out of those games, because Multiverse was such a fun beat 'em up game where like you could just play with your friends and just like have a good time and just like sit there for hours. It was like a lot of fun. Like Harley Quinn was one of my favorite characters to play. Personally, I loved playing Harley. She was fun. And like I really wish they would have put out more content, done more for the game. I just feel like they didn't do enough, and that's kind of like why they didn't really go over well. Maybe the gaps between characters and stuff like that. Maybe just wasn't, or maybe just wasn't unique enough for people to want to keep playing. But I had a bunch of fun with the game. It just sucks that they shut down the service, because the game was just so much fun. But that's kind of like besides the point. The fact is that they're in a bad spot right now. If you really think about it, the only two games that have really been successful is Mortal Kombat and Harry Potter. Mind you, you need Mortal Kombat X, 11, and 1 to topple what Harry Potter did. those games made about 32 million copies. And then you have Harry Potter that sold 30 million copies, which when you think about it, you know, obviously Mortal Kombat's a fighting game, so you know it's not going to do as much numbers as a game like, let's say, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is like a big franchise, and like there's so many different fans of Harry Potter, women, kids. Like when it comes to like a fighting game, it's a very specific niche kind of community. So you know, for them to even top a few, it takes 3 games to top it, which is fine, because like, you know, it's Harry Potter we're talking about here. You know what I mean? Like those numbers sound great, right? Well, while those games have sold well, others not so much. There's been major flops like Kill the Justice League, which took 7 years to develop and had many issues: low player count, general chaos throughout the development with constant management changes, just to name just a few issues that the game had. I'm not gonna get super into it because I never really covered that type of thing, but I know I saw videos and heard about it. So let's be honest here. Warner Brothers is still trying to create a successful live service game. However, they failed every time they try to do this. I think probably the closest thing to them making a live service game is probably Mortal Kombat 1, honestly. But you know, I'm not gonna go into the details with Mortal Kombat 1. Obviously, we've made multiple videos about it. Other content creators talked about it. I think everyone knows about the situation with Mortal Kombat 1's overcharging in the beginning of its life cycle, so we're not gonna go too deep into that. But yeah, just know like Mortal Kombat 1 wasn't that super successful in the beginning with that, until it learned that, you know, their fans' voice matter. You can't just overcharge for things that expect it to work, especially when the previous game you weren't charging anywhere near those numbers. But anyways, Kill the Justice League led to a $200 million loss for Warner Brothers, which is a major loss. Let's not even sugarcoat that. That's not a small number, and I feel like they're still recovering from that. And then there's like a game like Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights, while not a flop, it certainly was a disappointment to most fans. It released in a bad state with performance issues and kind of a rather dull, repetitive play from what I remember playing when it came to Game Pass. I wasn't. Usually with the Batman games, I can stay invested and I don't get bored. And this, what happened was with Gotham Knights, I just kind of got bored of it. Like, you know, it was just really repetitive stuff, and I just didn't really dig the whole vibe of the game. Especially when you go back and you look at this predecessor to the Arkham Knight series. The Arkham Knight series was just such a high bar. It was such a high bar because the Arkham series was such a dope. They just did such a great thing with those games. Like, it was so fun, engaging, the detective stuff, the beat 'em up style, the story, everything about those games was just awesome, bro. So, and it just kept you invested, whereas I felt like Gotham Knights just failed at doing that. And honestly, like, I feel like Mortal Kombat has been the golden goose for Warner Brothers Discovery before Harry Potter came out, because like MK1 wasn't like as big as the other games, it still sold 6.2 million copies, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it's still a far cry from 15 million, you know, that the Mortal Kombat 11 sold. So why did I mention the numbers there? Because it doesn't make sense. Injustice is not in that stratosphere of where Mortal Kombat is, especially with the merger. You want a game that's gonna be able to bring in you in money, especially after you've been bought by a different company. That company's gonna want to make money off of you guys right away. This is kind of something that happens when you buy something. You buy retail, when you buy a house or apartment, you want to make money off that. So that's kind of like the route that they're gonna go. You know what I mean? So now that I set the table for you guys, let's talk about the Mortal Kombat 2 movie being pushed back to May of this year. It's no secret that we're gonna get a reveal soon for the next game. I think that's pretty much a given at this point, especially with the head of Warner Brothers tweeting about possible big games coming out in 2027 and 2028. So it's safe to say we'll be getting revealed sometime in the near future. Whether that's a new Arkham game, a Harry Potter game, or possibly the next Mortal Kombat game, which honestly seems the most likely at this point. Especially when you just think about like the time frame of like Mortal Kombat games don't wait 4 years. Like, it's gonna come soon. So well, more than 4 years, I should say. Moving on to the next reason is, where does Injustice even go after Injustice 2 at this point? Does Superman escape again and just from the negative zone, and him and Batman duke it out again for a third game? Like, does Batman die? Like, what do they do with that? I just feel like at this point the whole evil Superman thing is kind of getting a little dull for me, and like, I would love to see other storylines within the DC and just like go away from Injustice. You can keep the same kind of fighting game style, but just do a different story. Like, they could go through, there's so many stories you can do in DC that it's kind of crazy that they're still going with Injustice only. You have other ones like Flashpoint, Elseworld, Crisis, Blackest Night. Like, there's so many different ways they can go about it. Like, can you just imagine a Blackest Night game? It doesn't even have to be a fighting game. That could be an adventure game, and I would be fine with it, bro. Like, I feel like Blackest Night would be such a dope thing to see in the game because of how many deaths and stuff like that. It would be like a very gory type of game. It would fit right into where Injustice and Mortal Kombat is inside this kind of box, if they wanted to do that. I just feel like, you know, the DC fighter needs to draw inspiration from other storylines other than the whole evil Superman thing. Do you guys get what I mean? Like, but look, the main reason I don't think they're going the Injustice route is that, let's be honest here, there's really two main reasons. Okay, so the first one is it's not a big seller, bro. Like, if you add the two games together, Injustice 1 and Injustice 2, they sold about 3.5 million copies. That is not a lot for a company to want to invest in making a game when they're being bought. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And actually, we can go back to 2011. Go back to 2011, and MK9 sold close to 4 million copies. So Mortal Kombat 9 alone sold more than both Injustice 1 and Injustice 2. So honestly, in my opinion, I think it's safe to say it's not going to be mentioned among one of the hitters. It's nowhere near the stratosphere of Mortal Kombat and and Harry Potter. Honestly, I would love to see them go a different direction than just Injustice, if I'm being honest. But we'll have to see where they go. If they decide to do another Injustice game soon, like, hopefully they kind of just sit back and think about like where they want to go with it. I just don't want another evil Superman versus Batman thing. Like, and I feel like they're probably gonna do that again, but it'd be cool if they would go a different route. And honestly, second, Ed said he doesn't want a 4-year gap between Mortal Kombat games. MK1 came out in 2023. It's 2026 now. Like, it's about 3 years. September is gonna make 3 years since Mortal Kombat 1 came out. And honestly, I think the window for Injustice has already closed. When it wasn't revealed last year, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for me. All the chaos with the Warner Brothers Discovery didn't actually do him any favors. So I think Injustice is just going to have to wait a little bit longer, especially when you have a merger that's about to take place. Warner Brothers Discovery is going to want to hit the ground running with like some of his biggest franchises after the merger. They're going to want to make money, and the company's going to make money. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, right? Obviously, this is under the assumption that Paramount buys Warner Brothers and all its assets, such as Warner Brothers Discovery. I need you guys to sit down and just think about it. Put your CEO hat, ladies and gentlemen. What's the best way to capitalize on the release of a Mortal Kombat 2 movie? Which honestly could have released last year, but chose not to, and not have to compete with the likes of the new Street Fighter movie. Warner Brothers' main objective is to make money, so it wouldn't surprise me if the higher ups met with Todd and Ed Boon and was like, "What's up, boys?" So we were thinking, Warner Brothers, obviously, we were talking it over, and we got a special movie in our hands, and we feel like it releasing in October probably wouldn't be the best thing. So we decided, here at the higher ups, that maybe we should push the movie back a few months and have it released set in May. What do you think? I don't know. The fans are going to be upset about this because they've been waiting for this movie, especially after the first movie. Like, this one, they've been really looking forward to. All the trailers have been promoting this one for a while, and you want to push it back to May? You're risking upsetting the fan base with this. Look here, Todd. How confident are you in this movie? Are you confident, Todd? Oh, yeah, I'm super confident. Like, the fans seem to enjoy the screenings that we've shown, and the movie, I'm quite proud of how Mortal Kombat 2 is going to turn out. I think the fans are going to really enjoy this one. And what about you, Ed? How do you feel about the movie? Is it going to be worth the wait? Do you think the fans are going to enjoy it? I think it's going to go over great. I really enjoyed the movie, and the fans that were there seem to enjoy what we've put together. So I'm excited for the rest of the fans to see once we release the movie. So I think it's gonna be fantastic. They're gonna be super pumped. Fantastic. Then let's start the movie date back to May. Not crazy. And Ed, you guys have been working on a special project for a while now. Let's get some footage together and let's show the fans that we haven't just been stagnant, because of all this, this craziness that's been happening on. And we want to start this new era with a bang. So a new Mortal Kombat coming out, maybe 2027, 2028. That sounds like a great way to start the year. I don't know about this, Ed. pushing it back with the cancellation of Mortal Kombat 1 game. They've been looking forward to this movie coming out. They're gonna be really upset. It's gonna be okay. Like, the movie is gonna go over well. The movie's great. They're gonna be excited. It's gonna be better. You know, kids are gonna be out of school. It's gonna be fine, and everyone's gonna enjoy the movie. Now, the game, on the other hand, might take some time because, you know, after what happened with Mortal Kombat 1 and the mixed reaction we got to the game, hopefully this one goes over much better. Well, that's how I imagine the meeting between Warner Brothers and Todd and Ed Boon could go. Like, I thought from the first time I heard MK2 movie was being pushed back that it would be more than likely a Mortal Kombat game if they were going to release a trailer for a new game. The timeline is just too perfect, and not to capitalize on a game when a movie's coming out would just feel like bad business practices, in my opinion. And honestly, like, with the recent failures of Kill the Justice League and Gotham Knights and Multiverses, like, it would just make the most sense for them to make a Mortal Kombat game. It's like, you want to capitalize on that. It's just, the timeline is just too perfect for you to miss out on putting on the game. Like, that's just bad business, in my opinion. Like, can you imagine if they released the movie this year and then throw out a teaser for Injustice? It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't correlate with each other. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be odd. Like, when the Superman movie came out, if they would have done something like that, then I could see that would make more sense. But they kind of missed that window for that. It's just too long from when the movie came out. But anyways, those are the reasons for why I think or thought that Mortal Kombat 2 would be the next game coming out, and like, I don't think Injustice is coming out anytime soon. But you guys are free to disagree with me. I understand there are going to be fans that still, you know, think that Injustice could come even with this movie coming out this year, and I don't blame you guys, because obviously you guys are fans of Injustice. I just don't see it, in my opinion. I just don't see that happening, because I feel like it just makes all the sense in the world for them to go the Mortal Kombat route versus the Injustice route with the movie and the sales and everything like that, and the merge from Warner Brothers Discovery with Paramount Plus, not Paramount Plus, but Paramount. Like, it just makes the most sense for them to go the route just making a Mortal Kombat game. And if you really think about it, like, there were reports back in the day that Mortal Kombat was NetherRealm was working on another game, and Ed just pushed it off, said no, it's not happening. And then, like, not even a year later, the game future DLC gets stopped. Like, that doesn't happen on accident. Like, none of that happens on accident. So from that point when we first did that report to now, it's been what, probably like 2 years. So they could be in deep development with the next Mortal Kombat game, and especially when you think about the lack of communication that happened after the DLC when dropped, and even when the combat characters were coming out, like the last combat pack characters were coming out, there was such little conversation between Ed Boon and the community that it just makes me think that report wasn't a lie, that they've been in deep development. That's why Ed Boon hasn't been as interactive with the fans, because the game first came out, he was super interactive with everybody, talking to everybody, and now that that's not the case, it just makes me sit here and think that, okay, they've been working on a game for the past couple of years, and I just think that it's another Mortal Kombat game, because it just lines up with the movie, and it just, Warner Brothers doesn't do things on accident. They're a business, they want to make money, and this is kind of my thoughts on why I thought all this makes sense. But let me know you guys comments in the comment section below on whether you think this is, you know, if you think I'm just bullshitting, or if you guys think along the same way, or even if you think it's gonna be an Injustice game. I think there will be an Injustice game eventually, just not right now. Not right now. It just doesn't make sense for the time frame and what's going on within Warner Brothers Discovery and outside with Paramount trying to pay to get all the assets of Warner Brothers. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Peace.
Please fill my cup. Am I really asking for much? It's been a long week, I'm looking for fun. Please fill my cup. Find me under the sun. SOS, I'm just looking for a good time.